Right, and I believe that we are live now on this session of ours, this
Yes.
April. Hi, Grace, how are you?
Hello. Hi, Lucy.
Thank you so much, Grace, for coming back to this show, Tuesday Talks at 3. It's a pleasure to have you. The last time you were here was in February when we were talking about self-love, and what a powerful, powerful session that was. And
Yeah.
literally, the audience wanted you back, Grace.
Right. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back.
Oh, thank you so much. Today we are talking about empowering our children. And empowerment is how we help children realize the potential within them. So it is how we help children realize the potential within them. So as parents and guardians, we all agree on one thing, that we want the best for our children. However, we do want these children to go through a kind of a system that would help them to get some skills, whether it is hard skills or soft skills. And the methods so far that have been used are the school setting,
That we
where
are
you
live
get
now
the,
on
the,
the
the hard skills, and also where it is that we can get the soft skills. So it's a very interesting concept when
methods
you
so far that have been
when you think
used
about the
are
different aspects that children would need to go to get this empowerment. And that is what Grace is here today to help us just go through as parents, and to understand what it is that we can do during these school holidays when children are at home. It is that opportune time to be able to empower our children. So though we look at the different methods that have been employed, whether in hard skill and soft skills, it is imperative that the parents try to keep this going, because it can either be a huge success or a huge failure. This is not in our control. So as parents, we need to do that we have been tasked with. We need to give our children the tools that they need to be able to go through life. But then, what is the best way to ensure that your child is all set is a kind of question that I would be asking today. What is the best way to ensure that your child is all set? It is said that empowerment builds resilience.
Mm.
Empowerment builds resilience, where the child develops confidence in their abilities, and then they build up on those abilities as they go into adulthood, and that they're able to integrate into the society. This is what we are suggesting, that children be able to develop their confidence, that children are able to draw from themselves, from their selves, and able to, so they can meet the challenges thrown at them in life. Because unfortunately, many times when we are faced as adults with failure, we don't have a mechanism to deal with that failure. And this all comes from that time of the empowerment from our parents, that perhaps we were not given those tools. So, what is it that we are drawing from self to be able to manage the challenges that life throws at us? And finally, that we are aware of our values, of our strengths and our weaknesses. And as we grow into adults, that we are able to just plug in. So today we seek to look at the environment that our children are in. And I am so sure that Grace is here. And Grace, you will agree with me that COVID continues to have its effects on families.
Right.
Whether it is parents have lost their jobs, or there's a death, or there's separation in divorce, or there's violence, abuse. I mean, Grace, you must be facing this in your sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We are in a situation where there is a lot of uncertainty and there is a lot of transition that is happening within families. And we do have a good number of families who are finding stability and they are finding resilience. They are able to bounce back. But then we also do have quite a number of families who are struggling through the transitions that we are going through. Our children are little human beings, just like us. They are experiencing the stress of not knowing. They are experiencing the stress of not being sure whether there will be another meal next time, or whether
Mm.
daddy will have his job back, or whether he is out of work. So our children are experiencing the same kind of stressors that we are going through. And so even as we go through this pandemic, we also need to be very aware that our children are feeling certain feelings, then we need to figure out how to know it. How do we figure out where they are and how they are feeling? So it's very important for us to be cognizant of that fact. And so you are right. Even as we are making sure they have food, they have shelter, we are making sure that they are being homeschooled, or they are going to school, whatever it is that we are doing to provide for their well-being. Let us not forget their mental health well-being. And one of the other things that I know, even in my house, is a challenge, is their social well-being, because they don't have the access to their friends like they did before. And as parents and grown-ups, we have adjusted, but have we been able to have our children adjust to the fact that now they don't have friends like they used to do? And so it's a really challenging time for the families and for all of us. And we are here to kind of share ideas and have a conversation about how can we be there for our children through all of this that is going on.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Grace. I mean, like I say, today we seek to look at that very environment that our children are in. And I
Right.
love that, Grace, you are talking about the mental and the social health of our
Yes.
children. You've brought up a very good point there about the social well-being of our children. As
Right.
adults, we have adjusted, and we've got tools that are helping us to adjust. For us, even if we're not going to work, we're working from home, something is happening.
Yeah.
We are continuing with our lives. We've got things that we have decided are more important than the moment. We're looking at that vision that is bigger than this moment. We are going on with life because we know we still need to have a roof over our heads. We still need to provide the food for the children, or in whichever aspect it is, we are the breadwinner. So thank you so much for that. And I just want to check on our Facebook to see who has joined us. So far, we have seen 4 people have joined us. And for those of you who have joined us, please just contribute what it is that, what kind of environment do you think children are in today? And what kind of support can we offer? Or what kind of support are you already offering? Once you're in there, yeah. And first off, before we continue, our apologies. We had a bit of a technological hitch between trying to log on from Zoom into Facebook, but we are here now, and we're thankful that you were patient with us. And we are here with Grace Kariuki to just take us through her take on children, the environment, the mental and social health. So the question is, what kind of environment do you think children are in today? Please message us and share with us your thoughts. And in your opinion, we are cognizant of the fact that children have emotions and that they need support. We've had Grace saying that just a few minutes ago. But then how do we offer this support? Because it's all well and good to highlight where perhaps the challenge is. The thing is in offering solutions. And that's what I love about Tuesday Talks at 3. We are speaking from an authentic point of things that are happening in our lives. Today, we're talking about COVID, and here in Nairobi, we're on the lockdown. The children are at home. This is an opportunity to be able to empower our children. So how do we offer this support? So welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3. This is a platform for women to help one another on our daily journey through the sphere of life or through the wheel of life. My name is Lucy Makridis, and I'm the founder of LMC Consultancy. I am an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their true potential through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I am a certified life coach. I'm a clarity coach. I'm a mentor. I'm an online facilitator. And I love doing this. This just gives me fulfillment. And to have guests like Grace on the session today, it's so good to have people coming in just so that we can be able to share our thoughts. And I can already see Alice has joined us. Karibu sana, Alice Jambi, great to have you here. Today we are talking about the mental and the social health of our children. How do we empower them? And share with us, what environment do you, in your opinion, think children are in today with COVID-19? We were sharing with Grace a few minutes ago about it being an environment where there is separation, environment where there's illness, there's death. Things are changing so fast. They cannot mix with their friends the way they did before. And you know, in all this, though we are cognizant of it, what kind of solutions can we offer? So that's the discussion going on right now. Alice, if you've got anything to share with us, just drop for us a message. I've got my eye on my Facebook live there. So LMC consultancy has been around now, and we have been offering services. And right now, as we speak this week, is a service of the Lady in Waiting, which is for teenage girls between the age of 12 to 18, where we're able to produce women as they gracefully transition into society. We take them through 6 sessions, great sessions of the art of good manners, of deportment, of social etiquette, you name it. And the best part is the core values. Core values are what is important. Talking about core values, this weekend we start the master class on core values for the adults, not for the young ones, for the adults. And you just need to check on our Facebook wall for the details. We start this Saturday on the master class. We've got 2 sessions that we'll be going through on the 10th and then on the 17th. And it's about you living in alignment with your values. Again, things we're going to discuss here with Grace. What kind of core values then should we be looking at as parents so that we can offer support? So we go on with the Awakening Self, which is our signature program, and that runs next week from Monday to Friday. But it is good to be here and to have Grace back. So Grace is going to be able to give us some insights on how we can support our children through this mental and social shift in their lives. So, Grace, we are in the school holiday period. And as we have shared before, these are unprecedented times. These are times that we never thought we would have to face as a world, you know, just as the world as a whole. So what, in your opinion, are children literally going through when we are talking about mental and the social health aspects of their lives? What is it that we need to be aware of, Grace?
Right. Now, one of the things that I want to encourage every parent who is going to be listening to this podcast from us is, emotional health is the same for everyone. It doesn't matter which age or which decade you were born. We have the same needs. We need to feel safe. We need to feel loved. We need to feel that we are capable, and we also need to feel that we have choice. Now, what is happening with the pandemic is that none of us feel like we have much choice. And so children, we normally say they need a few things to be able to feel that they can thrive. And one of those things is what we what we call predictability. Now, you know very well, COVID has taken away our ability to predict what is going to happen. So children are in that space of there is very little predictability when it comes to their lives, having consistency, because consistency is the other ingredient of a child developing the ability to feel they can thrive in life. And so when we don't have consistency, predictability, and clarity, our children are feeling lost. They don't know what to expect. What they used to have, for instance, they used to know that when school closes, they are taken to show and that is a highlight for some of them, and some of them maybe not a highlight, but still it's a change. There is a lot of change that is going on. So predictability, which is one of the ingredients for children to feel safe, is no longer, it has been taken away from them. And parents, as you are thinking about what your children need socially and mentally, you need to be able to be cognizant of that your children are feeling lost in all this that is going on. Yes, us as parents, we are busy trying to keep our jobs, trying to make sure there is food on the table. We are working from home. We are doing whatever we are doing to make sure that our children have what they need. However, we need to understand that our children are also experiencing the pandemic, the changes, the transitions every day. When we put on the news and they are watching to see how many numbers and all that, they are taking in that information. But who is it who is sitting with them and asking them, what are you feeling about the pandemic? And I have young children myself, and I have been asked the question, we've been praying for coronavirus to go away. How come it's not going away? You see?
Oh, yes.
And so we do need, that is not the question we have to answer. What we need to do is to see that our children are trying to tell us, to let us into their world. And we need to be aware that they are also experiencing this world. Now, what are they experiencing? What is the environment? This environment, like I said, there is very little consistency and there is very little predictability. And then the things that were normal for them. Remember, as adults, we are now working from home. So life as we knew it changed. Our children, life as they knew it changed. They are no longer able to go for swimming lessons like they used to do. They are no longer able to connect with Johnny who lives across the street. They can't. We are not allowing them to do that. They don't have the classroom. Like for my children now, we are doing homeschooling. So it's just the two of them and a teacher. So the connections, the social connections with other children has been taken away. So again, we are looking at what are we providing for them instead of what was normal. So we do need to understand that again, our children are not having the outlets that they used to have. Then there is also something else that we all need to know. Children get bored very quickly. So if we are not taking care of that, they will start to act out. And when they start to act out, and here I am at home trying to work, and the kids are wondering what are we going to do with ourselves, I will start yelling at them. But am I cognizant of the fact that they are feeling bored, and that feeling is legitimate? And some of our children, when they are feeling bored, it's not like they are going to come and say, Mom, I'm bored. What should I do with myself? No. What they are going to do is they are going to be irritable. They are going to be rude. They are going to act out. And what are we going to do? As parents, we are going to deal with the behavior. And so we will say, sit down. We will say, go to your room. We will say but we are not sitting and saying, can you tell me what is going on inside you? And we need as parents to be able to see beyond the behavior and actually think, this is a small mini me. So if I were me, I cannot go to Chama, I cannot talk to my friends, I cannot do all these other things, I cannot go to Bible study or church. So how would I be acting? Of course, I would be irritable. I would be feeling confined. So let's think in terms of what do our children emotionally need? What are they feeling during this pandemic? This is the holiday.
I'm just going to interrupt there, Gracie, just a little bit. I've got Sheila here, who is actually resonating with what you're saying. She's saying that our children are even more confused than we are because we are giving them mixed messages. We say, don't go out, but we keep going out and sometimes receiving visitors, yet they are completely forbidden to have visitors. And they are stir crazy for over a year. This is definitely something. We are sending out mixed signals. Though we are going on with managing our situation, like you have rightly put it, we are working from home. We have a support system, maybe from our place of work, or we have a support system from the communities that we belong to online, which are helping us to understand how to manage during these unprecedented times. But here's a child who is depending on you. So Sheila is resonating with what you're saying. We are sending out mixed signals and we are going out, we are having visitors coming over, but they are not allowed to ascribe to that same kind of freedom. And this has been over a year. She also goes on to say that about the consistency and the predictability. And she says she actually is, she's not giving that. So this is an aha moment for Sheila. where she has perhaps realized to be cognizant and then to know exactly what it is that a child thrives on. Then we've got Sanita, who says, recognizing our feelings on a daily basis is such an important coping strategy for those of us who struggle to know how to cope when we feel overwhelmed. Oh, that is powerful, Sunita.
Right.
Grace, as you can see, that is something quite powerful if an adult is already feeling like this. And here's a child who is feeling like they are bored, the way you put it, and now they are acting out. And as a
Mhm.
result, as an adult, you are now dealing with the behavior as opposed to the real situation. I don't know if I'm getting you right,
Yes.
Grace. Maybe you could
Mhm.
take it from there.
Right, absolutely. So we want to, one of the things that I want to say, and all of us are aware, is that children have emotions. We need to identify that. Now, we
Mm.
need to know that your emotions are triggered by your thinking. And the thinking is about the situation. So something has happened, and then I have thoughts about that something, and those thoughts create the emotion that I have. So we need to kind of see, when we see the behavior, that emotion then leads to a certain behavior. So if I see the behavior, then I know there is an emotion and a thought. And that is where I need to go. I need to address the behavior, but beyond the behavior, I also need to sit with my child, and I need to ask my son, my daughter, what are you feeling? And I have said before, when I talk to parents, I always say, train your children to identify that there are more emotions than mad and happy. And we need to talk to them about disappointment. We need to talk to them about other
Say
emotions.
that again. Say that again, Grace. We need to train our children that there are more emotions
Yes,
than,
than happy and mad. and
okay.
and our teenagers, when you ask them, so how are you feeling, they say bad. They need to be We need to teach them that there are other emotions than just bad. I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling sad. Let's talk about other things, like I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling disappointed, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling, these other even positive emotions. Let's train our children to do that. So my first point is that kids have emotions. Identify them and help them to identify what they are. I'm feeling bored. I'm feeling whatever it is that I am feeling. I need to constantly be able to identify. Now, go online and find the feelings chart. The emotion, the what are they called? Emojis. Just
Emojis.
Yeah, just go and get that. And with your children, you see, like what Suneta said. She said that it is an important strategy to constantly think about what you are feeling on a daily basis. And so let us take that time. Let's take 30 minutes every day, and we put up our feelings chart, and we say, can you tell us what are you feeling today? let me tell
Yeah.
you let
Yeah.
me tell you your kids will love it, because now they are going to be able to have vocabulary to tell you how they feel. And so and allow them to talk to you about that. Number two, so how do we meet their emotional need? This is the thing. Ask yourself. I remember, I will give an example of myself. There was a period in time I was sick, and my father would take me to the to the gate so that I can walk to school. I used to walk to school, and I
Mhm.
would refuse. There was a week, I think I refused to go to school 3 times. The third time, he got on his bike and he told me, we are going to go to school, but you are going to run while I follow you on my bike. Can
Oh
you
dear.
imagine? I was 6.
Oh dear.
Now, now the thing is, this was a new school. I used to be so afraid walking alone, but my parents never stopped and said, "Why are you not wanting to go to school?"
Mm.
Then I remember the story of my brother. My brother would refuse to go to school. One day, my mother found him in the shamba, sleeping, sound asleep, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So he took him, went to school and asked, and found out that this kid has been refusing to go to school because he was being bullied. by a teacher,
Oh,
you see. So,
oh.
but if we just deal with the behavior, we forget that before the behavior, there was an emotion, a thought, and an event.
I love that. I just love what you're saying right then. And what is resonating with me right now is the ask. And
Yes,
it's not only with children, and I know I'm digressing a little bit here,
yes,
but even in our lives as adults, we don't ask each other the question. And that is that question of how are you feeling? And we need also to be educated that there are more words
yes.
than fine, good, okay. And I love where you've gone with that question. In fact, when you're doing a post on Facebook, it gives you the option of putting in your feelings. So, am
Yes.
I feeling anxious, happy, sad, excited? And that could be a place to start as adults because half of us don't understand those emojis.
Right.
But when you go to Facebook, yeah, so you go to Facebook and you're doing in your own post for the day, it gives you all those options. Now, the children, they understand the emojis. So I'm loving this. These are gems. And ladies, I hope that you're writing this down. That conversation, and I'm just going to read off because I've been writing here, is that we need to train our children that there are more emotions than mad or happy or sad or happy. There are more emotions. There are other words that we can use. And my take is we can go to Facebook, try to make a post, and before we actually post it, we look at the options of how you're feeling, and that's what we bring.
Yes.
And the asking of the children is so important. And
Right.
where we see that there's a behavior, as parents, we must know that on the back end of that behavior, there was an emotion and there was a thought. Powerful, powerful. Jane Mwisukue, please, karibu sana. It is so good to see you here. Yes, so we are talking about being cognizant of that behavior that a child has and knowing the fact that behind that behavior, there definitely is an emotion because we're talking about emotional support. And I'm just going to jump ahead of this. And I just want to ask you about us as parents. When you're offering somebody support, it is a fair assumption that you already are okay in this area. I give you an
Mm.
example. A teacher will stand before a classroom and impart their knowledge in geography or histories because they have gone ahead and studied it, they know it, they can set a syllabus, they can set a paper to be able to rate you how well you've understood. But in this emotional support, Grace, the
Mm.
assumption here is that as a parent, I am emotionally stable.
Yes.
What can you tell me about me, the parent, and my emotional state where
Mm.
I can positively impact a child? Because we're talking about empowering our children these
Yes.
holidays. Eh?
Mm.
So, can you just take us a little bit there before we come to seeing what kind of support we can give our children?
Right. Now, you said it very well that when you do the Facebook post, look for the emotion. So, again, train yourself to feel, be aware of your emotions. And I'm going to encourage parents to work on one thing. Always remember, if God gave you those children to take care of, He knows you are capable, He knows that you can do it.
Wow.
So do not second guess yourself. Your children do not know any other parent, they only know you. So perfect you. Don't try to be like somebody else, and do not think you are supposed to be another way other than who you are. So if you are a parent who is too permissive, work on it. Be a better permissive parent if there is something like that. Don't try to be what you are not. Work on who you are. So get in touch with yourself. Myself, I don't like to hit kids. So I'm the spare the rod kind of parent. So, but I know how to sit, I know how to dialogue, eye contact, and actually ask the question, what do you think we can do? So I know myself. So I work on my strengths. So I'm telling the parent, be number one, God has given you all you need for life and godliness. That's what the Bible says. And so I'm saying God has given you all you need for parenting and being the best parent you can be. Do not look for other accolades out there. Ask your children, What can I do for you? Because the other thing is, a lot of us, we are trying to give our children what we think they need instead of
True.
what they really need from us. So ask
True.
the question, be confident enough to sit your children down and say, hey, how did I do today as your mom? How did I do today?
It's interesting that you say that, Grace. I do group life coaching, and I had a group the other day, and we were going through the aspects of knowing who you are. Now, what we do in this exercise is that number one, you write down 2 words describing self. And then
Yes.
number two, you go and you pick 3 people who are not related in any way. So maybe somebody in your home, somebody in your workplace, and maybe a friend. So 3 different people, and they need to describe you in 2 words. So from the 2 that you've picked, and from the 2 from each of these 3, you get to having 8. And then
Yes.
you look at your role model, that
Yes.
superhero, that person you look up to, that you aspire to be like. You go on and you pick out 2 attributes of this person. And
Right.
therefore, you've got 10 words now, descriptive words that you can play around with. 2 that you have given yourself, 6 that people have given you, a lot
Right.
of identity there to work with, and then 2 that you aspire to be.
Yes.
Now, when all these come together, we start talking about core values.
Yes.
We talk about what is important to you as a human being. Therefore, you cannot start acting the way other people are expecting you to act. I love it when you say that you need to perfect self. God has created you perfectly. He's given you everything that you need tool-wise to be a parent. And all you have to do is have that conversation with that child. Sit down and dialogue. I love that you dialogue. I dialogue also up to the age of 10 for my son specifically. I was dialoguing, but I was more of the rod. The rod is the one that did it. Well, when he turned 10 years of age, I had a talk with self. And I said, we need to dialogue. He's going in to be a teenager. I need to understand and be aware where my son is coming from. And because of this dialoguing over the years, I now have a very strong connection with my son. At least I believe I do. I guess we need to bring him here to ask him. But this is the emotional support that I am referring to. So when I was asking you the question in the beginning, where as an adult, the assumption is that I am emotionally stable.
Okay. Yes.
How then do I use this to positively impact a young person? I love what Washera is saying here. She said, well said, parents have ability to be parents. Fantastic. Every child is complete with the parents granted by God. It is beautiful. And just you saying that to us, I'm very sure the other people, the audience with us here, are feeling very comforted that they are enough. And emotionally, no matter where it is that we are, we know when it comes to our children, we want the best for them. What would you say about that, Grace?
I would say, and Washera is one of my friends. Thank you for joining. And she's a child psychologist, and she's wonderful with children. And I want to say that what she said is very true. Your children do not have any other parent except you. Yes. So whether you spend the rest of your time second guessing yourself, or actually saying, I need to talk to Lucy, I need to talk to Grace, I need to talk to Washera, how can I be the best version of myself? Because my children, no matter where I send them, they will never connect with another person like they have connected with me, because it's a God-ordained connection. And then number 2, God has given you what you need. And you don't have to be perfect. Just do what you do excellently. Yes. That's it. Your children are looking for your genuineness as a parent. They are looking for you to come and say, I am so sorry, John, that I yelled at you. It was not right for me to yell at you. and I want you to know mommy is sorry, and mommy is going to do differently next time. And then I am going to say, Johnny, how does it feel when mommy yells at you? And you allow him to say what he feels and validate it. And I remember I was reading something yesterday on Facebook. This mother who reached out to the child and said, I have noticed you are very rude at me. What did I do? Tell me what happened. There is something I usually tell parents to do. A question that they need to ask their children. When your child starts crying or coming and complaining about something that has happened, you need to ask this question: what happened? Very simple, but it allows the child to speak. And then when the child speaks, listen. And how did it make you feel? And then allow them to tell you how they felt. And then number two, what do you think we can do for you to feel better about this?
Wow. Wow.
Because the point is not to fix. The point is to let them process.
Oh, I love that.
That is how you help your child deal with emotions.
So the point is not to fix. It is to help them
process. That's how you empower them. There is something that we call, and I know Washera would be able to say more about this, self-soothing. Self-soothing. You train your children how to self-soothe. So if your child is going through something and they are screaming and crying, put them in a safe space and say it's okay, and scream it out, but put them in a safe space, and then let them soothe themselves. If you need to hug. Don't tell them, don't cry, stop crying. No, just hug and let them say, let it out, because it's going to be faster than if you are trying to tell them, don't cry. So let the emotions, so that they learn how to self-soothe. And these are the children that later on are able to manage their emotions, because they have been trained that it's okay to cry. But it's okay to cry within certain boundaries. If they are throwing everything out there, when they finish, you need to have a conversation about it's okay for you to express. It's not okay for you to be rude. It's not okay for you to throw things away. It's not okay for you to do this other extra. Just let them know it's okay to feel the way they feel, but then organize the outburst. Try to give them boundaries, give them what they are supposed to do. A lot of us parents, we are so good with don't do, but we don't replace the behavior with something more helpful.
Oh, wow. Brilliant. And Washera here says, learn skills of parenting with every experience. Oh, wow. That, you know what, Washera, if I can just take that one, Grace, that resonates with every aspect of life, that we need to learn our skills from every experience that we go through. I advocate for failure. I say failure is an option in my life, because when I fail, I learn to be able to work out a new option. And I try my best not to find myself in that same situation again. Because if I do, that tells me I never grew. So I love what you're saying, Washera. Learn skills of parenting with every experience. You say grow with them and become better for yourself, children, and community at large. Wow. Washera, this is amazing. I'm just throwing you there. I don't have an emoji right now. Okay, there is a love that's coming up. We were told today we need to figure out these emojis. I'm loving that. Well, thank you so much. So when we are offering this support, I'm loving about these available solutions that you and actually Washera here are contributing. Because number one, if I am confident that I am enough, already that's amazing. However, you did mention that you can speak to other people. And speaking is not a sign of weakness. It is just getting help to be able to come back and empower these children. I love the empowering description that we are not here to fix, but we are to help them process. To help them process. I'm loving this. So as parents, we already have ideas of what we can do. However, I just bring back, before I do that, Sheila says, I will organize my own outbursts. Yes, you see, parents also have outbursts, Grace, and I know
Right.
we are coming to the end of the hour, but what can you tell us about outbursts? Because I want to believe that during this time of unprecedented times, I most probably have enough outbursts. You know, the child, I am trying to work here at uh, my dining table, and the children are screaming in the bedroom because they are bored. That is my outburst now, to go there and shout, keep quiet. You know, do you think money grows on the trees? What advice would you give me as a parent before I start empowering my children? I love what you've said, Sheila. Outbursts. Thank you.
Yes, I love that too. Now, I'm going to say this. One of the things that I think is a very important tool for parents to use is family meetings. You see, the evening when we are
Yes.
having our, please, if you don't do this with your kids. Every evening, take your 30 minutes with the children, sit down. What did we do well today? How did everybody feel? That's a good way to put it together. And then organize the week, organize tomorrow. What is going on tomorrow? Create structures for your children because they are home, and you need to be able to create structures for them so that you can be able to work at peace. So create structures for them. Ask them for ideas. Ask them for ideas. What do you think we can do tomorrow? I remember one time I had a young lady who was living with us, and I was going to work, and the kids were bored. And let me tell you, she did something marvelous. She asked them, what can we, instead of watching TV from 1 to from 11 9 to 11, what can we do instead of watching? And these kids decided they are going to create a supermarket, and so
Yes.
they went outside and they created something. And so you need to be able to, as a parent, to organize your children so that they are not bored. Create structures for them, and you can do it with them. Now, the other thing that I have myself in our home we are doing is that we have people, within cautions and taking care of us, of ourselves. We have people who are coming to give them some training. Like, I have a physical education teacher who comes 3 times a week, and they are able to go out and ride bikes and do other sports events. And then you can have a piano teacher that can come and teach them something. It's the holidays. Look for opportunities for your children to have time to spend, that is valuable time, that is adding value to them. So what am I saying? I'm actually asking us to stop being lazy and to stop
Yeah.
feeling like
Yeah.
I have nothing, I don't know what to do. No, let us be creative. Let's go on Facebook and on YouTube and see what other people are doing and learn from them. If there is a parenting coach, there are so many free classes that are being given for parenting, for coaching parents, and all kinds of things. Get in there and learn, and pick up information and try to implement it at home. And then you yourself, because you are working from home, organize your time as well, so that you
Wow.
have time for the children, so they don't keep coming to interrupt you. The other thing, I talked about predictability, and you can see I'm running. We talked about predictability. If you give the children a structure, they know what to expect. They won't have too many interruptions on your time. So let them know what to expect, because that's what happens at school. They have structures. They have
Yes.
they have those things that are organized, and so
Yes.
so provide that for your child at home. And if you're overwhelmed, again, spend a little money and ask for a coaching session with a parenting coach, and have ideas of what you can do to help your children feel much more in control of their time, because they also
Wow.
need to feel that they have control.
I tell you, we've come right round full circle back to what the children need to thrive. There was predictability, there was consistency, and there was clarity. And we've just come right back only from a simple word like outbursts from Sheila. So this just tells you how authentic Grace is in her sharing. And Grace, I so appreciate you, because this is the second session that we've had on Tuesday Talks at 3, and you just give, and give. And I really do appreciate you. I would just like to give, in our great way that we complete our session, if you've got 3 takeaways that here the people who are with us, the audience, can take away with them and begin to apply immediately, what would they be?
Right. These 3 takeaways, again, it's more about where you are mentally as a parent. So number 1, I'm a capable parent. God has given me everything I need for life and godliness. And Washera said that parents have the ability to be parents. Every child is complete with the parents God has granted them. So I'm capable. Number 2, I know how to read my children's emotions. I've given you an idea. Go and build it. Teach your children how to identify emotions, even as you learn yourself how to identify your own. And then the third takeaway is that I'm equipped. God has given me everything I need, because let me tell you, there is something that your child will never find anywhere else, and it is that connection with your umbilical cord. Unajua vile tunasemanga, you are connected, and you need to hear that, and when your child is looking like they are rejecting you, they are not. They are just acting out. You just need to be more confident as their parent, to sit down with them and say, "Han, I don't understand. Just help me. I want to know how to help you. So can you talk to me?" And find ways to do that. And if you don't know how, again, seek for help. Seek for extra help. There is so much resources out here to be able to help us.
Well, thank you so much, Grace. There you have it. Our school holidays are a great opportunity to empower our children's mental and social state. I mean, you've heard about all those positive things that we can do. We need to plug into our children, recognize that these behaviors, that there's an emotion and a thought behind it. We need to have discussions with them, ask them the questions. I love the 3 things that Grace has shared with us so authentically. Family time. Family time is so important. In that family time, we are being real about, how did you feel about today? What did we do well? What can we change and work on? And just like in your own setting, you plan and you create, because plans are important. Plan and create. Give them something that they can know there's a consistency or predictability. Include them, because when there's inclusion, then there's buy-in. You don't have a child who is fighting against it, because they were part of the idea. And last but not least is get help. If not getting help, go out there and pay a little bit of money and get people to come in and be able to do active things with your children. Gives you the peace of mind that your children are growing, they're learning, that they're using this opportunity to still learn. How amazing is that? And for you, as Sheila has said here about the outbursts, then you need to manage your own outbursts, because then the children can see that you are purposed to be able to keep their lives on track. And children will appreciate this when you have those family meetings. Well, I love those takeaways, and definitely something that I can apply. I've got grown children, but definitely something I can apply when speaking to people, especially when I'm doing my life coaching sessions. Thank you so much to all of you who contributed to today. It has really been engaging right there. And now as we come to the end, I want to say goodbye. And in the meantime, as we are saying goodbye to Grace, I'd like you to just visit our Facebook page and be able to like, and for an opportunity to be part of our community and get all the updates. As I said in the beginning, we've got quite a few things happening this month of April. We wanted to be part of it. There is the Lady in Waiting program for young teen girls, 12 to 18. This weekend, we've got our core values masterclass that we are starting. We do the first session this Saturday, the next session next Saturday. And next week, we've got the Awakening Self program, which is my signature program, and it takes you through 5 sessions and gives you tools that you can work with, tools to be able to create these very goals that Grace is talking about that we need in our lives. Grace, asante sana. It was good to have you again. And please keep your phone very close to you, because we shall be calling you again.
All right.
Pleasure. It's such a pleasure, Grace.
All
And
right.
there we come to the end of our session. And until next week we'll be talking about the empty nest syndrome vis-a-vis empowering our children. The empty nest syndrome. Are you seeing how much energy we have used today in empowering our children? They are leaving us one day. They are. And there's something called the empty nest syndrome. So we're also going to look at that and just have a discussion. And my guest will be giving her take on her own personal take of how it feels in that emptiness syndrome and the things that we can be doing as we take into cognizance the upbringing of our children. Thank you so much for your time today. And until next week, please be kind to yourself. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.